Welcome to Vlogmas Day 12. And in today's installment, it's going to be about the Ascendance trilogy. Woo! Do you guys like my outfit? It's like this big onesie from Roots with like this little teddy bear hat. Isn't it so cute? And like to go to the bathroom, you have to like scoop out this right here. It's really weird, but I like it and it's comfy. Okay, so back to business. The Ascendance trilogy. The first book is called The False Prince, and this is where it all starts off in the trilogy. It's the best book of the series. There's three books. And I really enjoyed this book. It's basically about a kingdom that's like very divided and things aren't going very well, and this guy named Connor comes around. I'm not spoiling anything because this is like the very beginning. This guy Connor comes around to this orphanage and he picks up these three boys that look like each other. They have all the same features mostly, and he basically recruits them and holds them hostage and basically tells them, you know, you're gonna die if you don't do what I say, and you're gonna be the false prince. Connor took those orphan boys, and you know, only one of them is going to become prince, right? So they basically had to like fight to the death kind of to earn their spot on being the fake prince. And oh, it's so hard to not give spoilers, but basically Connor trains them. It reminded me kind of like Throne of Glass, where Aelin was trained in the kingdom to become like the assassin and everything, and they had to go through all these tests and all this training and stuff. It felt a lot like that, but it was more training to become a prince instead of an assassin. And he would, you know, like go late at night into like these corridors and dark things and like find these secrets. And so yeah, he was like finding out all these secrets and stuff, and it's a lot of like political stuff, which I found really boring, but in general it was a pretty good book. Right off the bat, one of the main characters dies, and I was like, whoa, okay, that's that kind of book. All right, sounds good. Another correlation to like Throne of Glass, Selena was kind of like a badass girl, you know, like with all the attitude, and Sage being the main character, he's like a legit smart ass. So he comes up with these like witty things to say and stuff, so I found that pretty entertaining. Okay, so I give The False Prince, the first book, a 4 out of 5 because I thought that it was better than the average, you know, teen fantasy book. So the reason that I gave this book a 4 out of 5 instead of 5 out of 5, I can't really say exactly because it will be a spoiler, but I didn't really like Connor's whole part of the story. I just found it really, I don't know, like unrealistic that would actually happen, so 4 out of 5. Okay, so the second book is called The Runaway King, and I give this story a 3 out of 5 stars because it was pretty good, but you know, it wasn't that great. It was kind of like an average, you know, teen fantasy book. So this book was basically about there's war coming to the kingdom, and now King Jaren is under threat. So he basically goes to the pirates to do something. We don't really know as a reader what he's gonna do or what he's gonna say. So he basically wins them over. That's like literally, like this is the beginning of the book, I won't spoil it. And basically he has the pirates on his side, and then he can like do whatever the hell he wants, I don't know. So it's kind of hard to not give away anything, but basically it was a decent book, but it started getting a little bit dry and slow, and he develops a love interest with this girl. Her name is Imogen, and I really just didn't understand the whole thing. It was kind of like a love at first sight, and they were just like instantly in love, and I don't know, it just felt really fake. I also felt like in this book that King Jaren just kept getting sidetracked on things, and he would do like these side missions that were just kind of like, why are we wasting our time in this story doing this? Like, I'm not really sure, how does this fit into the mainline story? And in the end, it wasn't really like a huge deal to the story, so I feel like there's a lot of redundancies in this book that we could have just lived without. Okay, so the third and final book of the series is called The Shadow Throne, and this book I gave 2.5 stars. Basically, there was a whole bunch of war in this book. Lots of politics. The most interesting things I ever find in books, not. And basically there was war, there was battle, there was deaths, there was possibly deaths, there was some little twists. Jaren's love gets taken, or he thinks that she died, and there's a mystery to what happened to her, and I don't know. This book was just kind of like, like it was good, but meh. Like I don't feel like it was a very strong finale to the series. Honestly, I felt like this book, they were trying to imitate Game of Thrones almost, but way not as good and way more kiddie, I feel. Like it was much more immature, and like the battles were so simple, and I don't know, like Game of Thrones is so intense and multi-dimensional, and you get to see all these different character perspectives, and in this book it was just from one perspective, King Jaren's. So it was just really just one dimension, kind of simple, plain. Also, I felt like this book, it was too jumpy. Like it would go from this scene to that scene to that scene to this scene. And it was just too jumpy and all over the place, and I like a book that really takes its time and slow, and it's very descriptive, and this just felt too rushed, like she was trying to just get everything all out and just like finish the series. All in all, it was a good series. I mean, I would say, yeah, read it, but don't have it at the top of your list of series that you would want to read. I know I'm really critical, but I'm just telling you guys what it is. Like, go check out my Aragon review, because the Aragon series was awesome. And I'm gonna hopefully do a lot more reviews showing really good books that I've read, because I feel like I'm really critical. So I hope you enjoyed my review of the Ascendance trilogy. And let me know what you guys think of the book if you end up reading it. And you can also see my entire review on my Goodreads profile, which also has like more specific things, but it's hidden because of spoilers. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. And this is going to conclude Vlogmas day 12. I'm so full from today. Like I still feel so bloated. And I had a massive lunch at noon, and now it's like 10 o'clock at night. I literally ate 10 hours ago. That's crazy that I still feel so full. At work we had like a gym people potluck, so everybody brought in a different dish. I brought in chips. I know, real original, but I don't bake. I don't make much food. I don't have time to make a lot of food, so I was gonna film like what I ate and stuff and like the whole table because it looked so festive, but literally I was just like and then I was like, oh shoot, I didn't film. Oh well. And then I just kept eating. But literally, like, there was cheesecake, there was Krispy Kreme donuts, and I saved a little bit. So this is some of the leftovers that I kept of some of my favorite stuff. So this was like a coconut butter cookie. This was chickpea, kind of like a curry. There's chili with chips. And OMG, Krispy Kreme donuts. If you want to make them even better, like next level, you mic them for like 5 seconds or like max 8 seconds, depends on how strong your mic is. But then it's just like when you put it in your mouth, it just like, it melts. It's so good. Oh my god. And I can smell the sugar from here. I'm so excited. Okay, so I'm gonna go and eat this. I'm going to go edit my vlog. Have a good night. I feel like I'm really critical.
I couldn't find them really critical in your music.
Really?